Grimmtombobulus and Dolphin in the house. How's everyone doing? About to show off behind the scenes on our new troll collab we've been working on. Right, I guess I'll go into make mode, move around and stuff. Well, Dolphin, do you want to kick it off? I suppose this opening room is yours. Well, I'll go into play mode.
Yeah, so it says ant, and then there's an ant. And then for those who are cool, they will go to the start, and then the other ant shows up.
Beautiful
and then it's
explanation.
funnier because the other ant shows up. Some people will just like dive into the other ant first, and then they won't even see like the joke of the setup. But
Yeah.
that's the joke. So the ant on the top left just walks around the edge, and then the one down here walks on the piranha creeper, which is kind of cool, and the piranha creeper coming back up causes it to go up really fast.
Yeah, I was surprised how many people seemed confused by how this worked, but yeah, it's literally just, I think if this was a ground tile, then that ground kind of extends invisibly off the edge of the screen, right? But if it's a hard block,
Yeah,
then
it only works if it's hard blocks or like whatever else.
Yeah,
but
like
ground
any other
tile,
block.
it like technically extends to the left forever.
Let's go to the next bit.
Well, if you fall down, there's okay.
Oh yeah,
Hold
yeah,
on,
we can show that
thing.
as well. If you fall down, there's a little
I
ping.
think 2 or 3 people found that.
Very few people. Surprised Carl didn't find that. All right, let us proceed.
Alright, next room.
Yeah. So.
This is the thing that came from a level I played in endless mode and took a video recording of, and has been sitting in my Switch videos for like years, and I wasn't able to figure out how to set it up consistently for literally years. And then I finally got it working.
Yeah.
It's so precise, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
But it has to do with like the thwomp getting springed and then the mushroom platform bouncing it up at a really specific frame. So like if you move literally anything here anywhere different, it won't work. Yeah, so like the thwomp one further to the right and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's ridiculously precise and weird.
Very
Yeah.
strange. I was saying my theory is that maybe it's probably programmed to have a thwomping state and then it like resetting back to its original X position state. And I think if it gets bonked up on that frame, it almost feels like it preserves. It basically it keeps in its like backwards moving state, even though it's also being moved up by the bonk. I think that's what's happening, but yeah, all we know for sure is that it's very precise.
Maybe.
And if you set it up like that,
Like
then
it gets
works.
bonked as it's switching its state.
I think that would
Yeah,
make
it took
sense.
me literally years to get this lined up correctly and figure out, because in the level that this happened, there was like a billion stuff on screen, so I had to figure out what was causing it and then also how to set it up, and it took me literally years and like multiple tries to get it to work. Okay, yeah. So what's happening here is the thwomp charges at you, so you go on top of it. The other thwomp pushes that thwomp into the mouse. So the way this works is the thwomp is barely touching the other one, and for some reason that just causes it to carry the thwomp with it. So essentially because Nintendo jank. I guess it's like weird hitboxes and collision detection. And so it's literally just set up by having that red block push the thwomp from below slightly up. And if we go up to the snowball thing that does it, that switches
yeah.
it to on off state. There, yeah, and
That's
it's just
all it
that.
is.
And it hits the switch after a few frames, just enough to push the thwomp up a little bit. And then the next layer,
Yeah,
when the
so
player goes on the cloud.
falling to our own trolls. Okay.
But first, Grim has to do it correctly.
Yeah, so
There you go.
yeah.
And then he gets you.
Yeah, you go
I'll
Dolphin if
explain
you want.
this.
Yeah.
So the thwomp gets sprung over to the right. And it causes the thwomp to go back, which carries the skip squeak with it. And this is where skip squeak behavior comes into play. So basically, whenever skip squeaks get moved away from their... Should I show the YouTube comment? Are you able to show the YouTube comment on screen?
YouTube comment? Oh, I don't know if I'd be able to load that up.
Okay, I'm just gonna read this YouTube comment because this person in YouTube explained it and Carl's upload of this level, and I really like it. So the comment reads, for anyone wondering how these mice work, they are moved away using springs, or anything else, in this case a thwomp. Whenever they are moved away from their original spot, they will try as hard as possible to get back to that spot. This includes moving left or right to be in the same spot horizontally, and jumping over any obstacle in its path, which is relevant to this troll, because it's trying to jump over the thwomp, and that's what causes it to jump at you. Once horizontally set, it will jump twice, jumping its usual jump height. If that didn't cause it to reach its original spot, it will do a higher jump, which is kind of similar to a triple jump, both in height and because it's a third jump in a row. If still not reached to its original position, it will look down, sad, disappointed, and unfulfilled. So there's your skip, and we use this tech like multiple times in the level, so...
Yeah,
This troll in specific uses the fact that it jumps over obstacles to get back to its horizontal position, so it jumps over the thwomp, and it looks like it's jumping directly at you.
Yeah, it's
They're
curious.
all equal and life is to be where they started. Exactly.
It's kind of curious because, yeah, so...
Sad backstory.
Because I think the mouse stays at the same height, but... So this was some weird jank I found. I think, yeah, so Dolphin came up with the original layer here, where this gets pushed, and then I added the thing where the mouse jumps back, which I kind of just discovered by accident through playing around. But yeah, for some reason, when this spring is here, and also, by the way, this is very specific as well. I don't know why or how this works. If you move the spring to the left or to the right, a tile, none of this works. But for some reason, you see there, the thwomp got sort of pushed up and then immediately started thwomping to the left again. Don't know why. That's very precise, though. If you want to do that yourself, you'll have to play around with the distances and things. It must be a sub-pixel thing or something. Okay. So, I'll fall for the troll.
So this is basically just...
Okay, so...
Yeah, sure. So this is literally just the thwomp's at a specific height. You jump into it, and it doesn't actually land on the thing, and then it tells you to deck. Yeah, and that's the setup. It's just a spring gets blown up, which causes it to move upwards slightly, and then it also bounces a blaster, which moves the thwomp upward, like, just the right amount. It's very random, and it kind of came by accident, but it's a thing.
Oh, that was weird.
And then that was weird, but that is what happens ideally on your way back to the left, because you hit this block, and it doesn't do anything, and then there's a spring on the left. I must get that spring, and then you fall through the thing. And that layer didn't work as well as I wanted it to, but it's cool, so...
Yeah, sometimes it's nice, just knowing it's there, you know, it's like hiding in the background. And that, yeah, a few people fell for that, and it was a big surprise for them. So, yeah, a good layer, if you ask me. Yeah, the way this works as well. This was in the original video you sent me, wasn't it, Dolphin? But, yeah. I mean, there's kind of a joke here where, you know, because it's a snowball, it's not gonna do the chain where it'll actually affect anything. But there's just a spiny up
otherwise
here.
It would chain upward, yeah.
Yeah, that's just a height detector where the spiny falls, and then it hits this brick, and then drops the spring. Cool. I don't think there's anything else to explain here.
Yeah, so you use the boost pad, you're running into the car, you have limited time to jump, and you do, and then you go bolting into the skip squeak. And so this is cool tech I found, where basically you maintain your boost pad momentum when you're running against a car. If you were to run against like a wall or something, you would lose your boost pad momentum immediately, but for a car, that doesn't happen. So then when you jump up, and then there's a Kaizo block, you just bolt into the skip squeak unexpectedly. And that's the intended troll there.
Yeah, you need the mushroom to escape. Usually, if the switch state was in blue, which it would be if you just entered this room, then this thwomp hits this bomb, which flips the switch state, which causes this mouse here to fall down. It also causes this to extend. The only reason I have that there is because the original setup here was a lot more complicated and needed this to be here. But when I simplified it, I actually missed the sound effect of this going off. I just felt it made the whole thing sound more chaotic and sort of just got you a bit more on edge. So that is literally just there to make the sound effect of that extending. That probably completely pointless. Probably completely pointless.
I didn't know that.
I just missed it. I longed for it. Anyway, yeah, so you get this. This is just how the game works, this troll. If you have boost pad momentum, and you hit into a little gap like that, it will auto-duck you. And also boost pad momentum forces you into pipes.
Forces you to duck and forces you into pipe.
Yeah, the 1-2. Hit them with the 1-2. Now, this is something that... I'd say maybe 50% of people appreciated this, and I fought long and hard for this to be in the level. I don't know if it was worth it, but yeah.
Grim, you really wanted this ant into anti thing, and you came up with the weirdest ideas possible to make it happen.
Just literally any excuse to have it in there. I like
this application, so...
Yeah, I think this works. Yeah, basically, there's just a blaster there that shoots ants, and it's blocked when you first come into this area. Now you're in the other switch state, and it's Bal's anti now. Yeah, so yeah, that twister's just there so that basically, like, if you're inside on-off blocks and then they switch to being solid again, it will try and force you out of them. So if you're Big Mario, it will force you up a bit, but then having the twister there forces you up slightly more, which is just enough to get you into that that magic box. And that's only like that so that the magic box isn't visible the first time you come through that area, just to make it a bit less suspicious. Yeah, the warp box, yeah. I have my own names for everything, and I'm hoping they'll catch on. I'm going to keep referring to it as a magic box.
Okay. It's like how I call Blowy Joey Swirly Joe.
Yeah.
That's what my mom calls them.
Is it? Okay. So then there's this setup.
Alright, and then this is this. So there's a classic vibrating thwomp slope thing, and then parachuting penis on top of the thwomp. And now the penis is vibrating, and then spring falls eventually. And it just does that. And the reason that the snowball does that is because the vibrating thwomp has leftwards momentum, because it like bolts to the left really fast on this slope. So when the snowball gets sprung, it just like really fast goes to the switch.
Yeah.
And then it's also vibrating. And go to the clear pipe intestines.
Oh yeah. So yeah, just off screen, this spring falls down, and then
yeah, there they are.
Disgusting. You're literally seeing the guts of the level right now.
Yeah, it goes through the intestines and then it falls down.
Yeah, and that's
exactly. And then it falls down on top of the snowball.
I mean, I don't know how many people appreciated that it's timed with the music, with the like bonus music, the spring falling and everything. It's meant to be sort of like with a rhythm to it. Yeah, so this is just like this to have it fall at the exact right time. Yeah, fun fact, anything in a... most people know this now, probably, but anything in a clear pipe never despawns. This level has guts, yeah, you're seeing them right now. This is the whole behind the scenes, we just need to show this.
Yeah,
there you go, you've seen the guts of the level now. There you go. Right, let's make you Lil Mario. And let's go the proper way. So yeah, I mean,
skip squeak is there just to make the player concerned about it, so that they're thinking about the skip squeak instead of the actual troll.
Yeah. Should have mentioned that. Yeah, I just put that there to freak you out a bit.
Wait, Grim, Wes has a question. What were the Kaizo blocks by the blue pipe for?
Let's have a look. Oh, these. They're actually only there because this backing pipe
Oh, that's
used
from
to...
a previous thing. Oh
yeah,
my
yeah.
God.
I just never removed those. This backing pipe used to block you and then send you back through this pipe, and then it would send you through the floor here. But yeah, the level changed and it doesn't do that anymore. So yeah, they can go. Thank you for that. Bit of spring cleaning. Yeah, this is fairly self-explanatory. But basically, if you jump at the P-switch from here, the P-switch will activate quicker than the mouse jumps, because the mice jump like slightly after you jump. It's not at the exact same time. If you jump from down here, though, then there's not enough time and the mouse will jump and block you. And then there's another layer. Oh, God.
Also, the Skip Squeak's hitbox is higher than the semi-solid.
Yeah, which is kind of rare, isn't it? Because a lot of people assume
Even
in
though it
Mario Maker
kind of...
that like you can just walk over a setup like this, but for some reason Skip Squeaks are a little bit taller. Yeah, so that would kill you as well.
A lot of people died that way.
Yeah, yeah. Which wasn't really meant to be a layer, but there you go. If you hit this and wait as well, come down here and get the 1-ups. Yeah, Dolphin explained this earlier, I think, but they'll try and jump to get back to their original position. The third jump is always higher.
Yeah, so this is the triple jump thing that that comment was talking about. Yeah. So the psychology here is if you roll from the top, the spring will just hit you in the Skip Squeak, and so it looks like they're supposed to roll from the bottom so the spring doesn't get them. And then when they do, so roll, there's a hidden mushroom pad that takes you up to the spring, and then your character makes a lot of noise because you're like getting hit by the spring.
Fun fact,
like
you can't jump out of this as well. The Kaizos are above you because
you can't get out, and then the ant comes and gets you.
I love the way the ant freaks out. Yeah,
which was not a thing we intended. The ant just does that. It's great.
The ant freaking out is like the icing on the cherry on the icing, whatever the phrase is. Yeah, love it, love it, love it.
The cherry on the icing, yes.
The cherry on the icing. On the cake. Yeah.
So the intended solution is to just roll on the top. Some people got confused for some reason. And then also the spring has to be centered with the clear pipe for the whole thing to work correctly.
Yeah.
And then there's the warp box up there for later.
Yeah, that's later.
And yeah.
This is what kills the mouse.
So when you
Oh yeah, you go ahead.
Yeah. So when you hit the switch, first of all, that red POW will be on top of the shiny block, and the snowball falls on the slope, causing it to hit the block, which causes the red POW to activate, which kills the Skip Squeak, and also spawns the small ant from below. And then the small ant will travel on the conveyors and go up and kill you. And the big ant there with the parachute is also for later, so we won't talk about that just yet.
Yeah, one thing I thought additionally, actually, the reason that this slope is here, I think, if I remember correctly, let me remove this and see if it happens. Yeah, so the ant actually spawns facing to the right, even if you are to the left of this whole setup, I think. So that slope is just there as a way to make the ant turn around. Yeah, it hits it like it's a wall and it just turns around. Okay, these bombs are for later as well, so we can ignore that for now. But all I'll say for now is notice how basically this just destroys itself and nothing else really happens. It all just blows up like that. It won't be like that later, but we'll talk about that when we come to it. Oh, and then, yeah, the switch state needs flipping back into red, so that it's red for the next area, consistent with, you know, starting from the checkpoint. So basically, as soon as you come down here, we're already in the red state, so it's not working, but if this was blue state, then this guy would fall down and hit the on-off. Okay, next section. So, yeah, this is just some dumb thing that I discovered while I was messing around. This guy is on a parachute the entire time. I don't think it'll work if I spawn into this area. Yeah, he's facing the wrong direction. But you see how, like, while he's falling on the parachute, his legs are flying wildly in the air. When he's turned around the other way, which he is when you come in from here, I thought it looked like he was, walking down the wall, which that seemed to work. A lot of people seem to think that. And then, yeah, there just needs to be any kind of hard surface here to stop him from, like, immediately swinging off this way. So he'll try and swing off this way. He won't. Then he'll try and swing off this way, and he can't because of that wall. So basically, he'll just be swinging perfectly down for quite a while. And then at the last minute, he flies over. And there's basically just a moving trampoline there. So if you're nervous and you just stand here like, oh god, what's going to happen?
This is your favorite room in the level?
Thanks, Hunter.
Yeah, this is entirely Grimm's room. I didn't do like almost any of this, so props to Grimm for that.
It was a bit of a clusterfuck to begin with, though. Like, I could not have made this nearly as funny or as clean as it ended up being without Dolphin constantly saying,
yeah, I mean, I gave you
this needs
playtesting
this.
Advice.
Yeah, no, but also like advice on
did
how
a
to
lot
actually
of
fix some
yelling
of the
at Grimm in
setups, I
this
think.
collab.
Yeah, all for the better. Anyway, yeah, solution here is obviously just to get the fuck out, come down here. This is meant to make it look like you don't want the Goomba, because if you had the Goomba, then that thwomp isn't going to activate, right? And you'd just be stuck down there. I guess if the player thought a little bit longer, they'd think, well, then that would make me soft-locked, so surely that can't be what happens. I guess I was just hoping that in the process of all of that thinking going on, that's long enough for this ant to show up, which then means you can't get the Goomba mask. Turns out you needed it because that's actually a left-facing thwomp, and it just blocks you from going in the pipe. And yeah, that's basically impossible to get.
And the thing is, a lot of people still don't understand how Goomba masks work.
Yeah, true. I mean, even Carl, I think he was just like, do I want a Goomba mask? Yeah, it's a power-up. Yeah, sure. Not thinking like anything about what this setup is. Fun fact, it's kind of meant to look like it's the same ant that flies down. And originally it was, but I think you said, Dolphin, like, oh, it seems to take a bit too long to show up, but, well, there's nothing we can do about that.
It took way too long.
Yeah, and then I had the brainwave. They don't need to know it's a different ant, so, yeah, this ant just gets stuck on this conveyor, trying to walk down there, and they just get stuck here. And this ant does this little merry journey. I'll show you this, but, like, yeah, if an ant hits a spring like this, then they'll just fly off it. It's not too complicated. And then that's just positioned so that they're stuck in that sort of perpetual loop.
And then it gets stuck in eternal spring land.
Yeah. I mean, that's what a way to go, you know. If I had to live forever, then being on a sort of carnival ride for the rest of my life is not the worst way to go. Cool.
Can't believe you ruined the ant immersion for me.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's like when you find out that all your favourite characters in films are actually just actors. Can never go back. Never unsee. Okay. So, yeah. As a Goomba... I mean, maybe I should explain, yeah, how Goomba masks works. You do make a good point, Dolphin. A lot of people don't know how they work. Enemies will just ignore you. So, this thwomp, you can't get through because you've got Goomba mask on. Little arrows, you're like, okay, so I hit the snowball through there. Oh, now I can lose the Goomba mask. So you try and lose it, you come back, and then... yeah, and then that happens. Yeah, Dolphin helped with this a lot. This was very convoluted, and actually, this main troll that everyone seems to really like was kind of like a third layer. There were quite a few layers before this, but it was a clusterfuck. There was too much going on. Yeah, Dolphin really helped with this, especially making the timing really consistent, which I think is what really sells the troll.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. Functionally, it was bad.
But that nugget of an idea was there.
Used to not be there, so people were just expected to run into the pipe instantly.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it took a lot of like revision.
But yeah, this is easily like one of the best parts of the level now. So.
Yeah. Thank you. And I guess seemingly from what other people have said, yeah, people seem to really like this. So yeah, very honoured. But yeah, this just took a lot of little tweaking because you want the player to feel like they've chosen to go straight back in the pipe, but you also need to somewhat force them so that the timing works out. And it also needs to be easy enough to avoid. So yeah. It was just a lot of playing around with the shape of the ceiling and stuff.
And the reason the thwomp comes down is because you don't have the Goomba mask.
Yeah, exactly. So first time, you know,
that's it.
Thwomp's just chilling there. Once you lose the mask and come back through, they fall. And then the timing is just worked out. So yeah, the donuts are like physical hard entities in 3D world. So the game thinks, well, you couldn't leave via that entrance, and you couldn't leave via that entrance, so we're just going to kill you. Yeah, there's also a bit going on up here. I can't remember why they're both there. Oh, I think it's some D-cheese in case you manage to enter the room in the wrong switch state. But essentially, all you need to worry about, you can kind of forget that one. Yeah, basically, when this falls, that bomb can then walk across. They're free. And then when the thwomp goes back up, this blaster then crushes the bomb, which switches the switch state, which is needed for the next room. But it also kills the thwomp because there's on-off blocks there. Just to make it like less annoying, you know. Once the thwomp's done the troll, we get rid of the thwomp. Put that back. This is just here as sort of D-cheese as well. We saw a few people do this, didn't we, where they managed to damage boost and then get up here before the donut had respawned, and they were just able to escape this super quick and just come straight into the pipe. If people do manage to do that, then this doesn't have a chance to flip the switch state.
Yeah, before the switch could even change.
Yeah, so this is just here to flip the switch state in case they manage to pull that trick off.
Also the warp box.
Oh, yeah. This went through a lot of revisions as well, like...
The warp box down there?
Yeah, so... Well, actually, I also didn't explain this, so... Oh, let me just... So if you come in here as a Goomba, if you do this as quickly as possible, then that, like, knocks the snowball back, which is like a little extra layer. But yeah, so the idea is, once the snowball's gone, you're thinking, okay, maybe I can still spawn the guy from the block, but if you try and long jump into it, you'll always fall into the blocks. So they're kind of there for that reason, but also, like, we needed a way for you to not soft lock, but also, like, if there was just spikes here, then you could just lose the Goomba mask on the spikes, right? So it needed to be like an instant death. And it couldn't be a pit because this is a vertical subworld, and we're using vertical scroll to hide a lot of things that are off the top of the screen. But this is basically just two boxes blocking these. When you come into this area from the left, this blows up. Actually, yeah, this is interesting. So because this is on a slope like that, it immediately gets raised up a bit, and then this bomb just immediately blows up, as you can see there. So that means that this is now free for you to fall in, but then, yeah, when you respawn, they're both blocked, so that'll just kill you. Do I mean the magic box? Of course, sorry. I'm forgetting my own terminology and lore. Thankfully, we're now into a dolphin section, so I can shut up for a while.
What do you mean, thankfully? I'm sure people really enjoy listening to your voice.
Well, thank you. I don't enjoy listening to my voice.
This is a callback to the Wilfred thing. Those who know.
Yeah, this little box here.
Okay. So you take damage, and a skip squeak spawns, and you need to get past the thwomp, which is why you need to lose the Goomba mask. So you lose the Goomba mask, and then you jump over the skip squeak, and then there's another guy. I'm gonna have to leave stream. Okay, see ya, Hunter.
Yeah, see you soon.
So the on-off state needs to be blue. Actually, just switch those blocks to red. Switch those blocks to red for the point of, like, showing this. The on-off blocks, yeah. So this uses tech where when you spawn a large parachute enemy from a block, and you have two hard tiles above it in the way we do here. So, like, 3 tiles above the question block, and then there's, yeah, that, and then the ground tile next to it, like that. And it causes the enemy to, like, fly through them, and then it just causes a lot of weird possible things to happen. So these are very, like, specifically placed blocks to basically just shove the skip squeak inside of the track block, and then it's pretty much completely hidden. If you press play, and make sure the thwomp doesn't kill you.
Yeah.
Okay. And then if you zoom in on the track block, you can see whiskers.
Yeah.
I want the people to see the whiskers. Look at them. Look at the whiskers. Can you see them? There's whiskers.
There's a little bit of his bum
There's
there
whiskers.
as well. Just about to see it. But yeah, no one notices that.
No one sees it. Yeah, it's very well hidden.
There's a few blocks you can do this with, right? So we could have used exclamation mark blocks, I think, and there's a few other blocks that the skip squeak will sit inside. But I think because
I don't know. I haven't tried it.
I did play around with a few things, yeah, when I was building this, and because we're in 3D world, right? Everything's 3D. So some of these, I mean, in the editor, they all just look 2D, but they are legitimately 3D in the when you're playing. These blocks, I think, are a little bit fatter, like in the Z direction, so it just hides them a bit better, and also the colors more similar. But also, like an exclamation block, you could like hit into it, it would extend, it would just make it a bit confusing. Track blocks in the blue states. These ones in particular, where if you stand on them and they move, in the blue state they are completely inactive and won't do anything. So they're just a convenient, like, acceptable block for this setup that won't do anything. Yeah.
I think when it's in the blue state, you can see the whiskers a little better too.
Okay, cool. So, actually, I mean, I will. Oh God. I will just go back and get us on the right switch.
Oh my god, how are you doing this in the slowest way possible? Did you guys see that? He switched every individual one. Did you guys see that?
I don't play with Joy-Con.
Wow.
I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. Okay.
Okay. So this is one of those things where we had something that looked like it could be something, and it was weird. But then it functionally didn't do anything at all, and then we were like, you know what, fuck it, let's just make the setup that. Let's just make the point of the setup that it functionally does nothing. So that's literally it. So you hit the block, and then there's a bomb, and it's suspenseful, and it's like, oh god, what do I do? But then literally nothing happens. And the ant is just stuck up there for some reason. So then you have no choice but to fall down. There's Kaizo blocks where the ant is, so you can't die to the ant. So you have no choice but to fall down in the pit, and the solution is to just not even engage with the setup. I call this the anti-setup, like the anti-setup, because it's like, it's not even a setup. It's the entire setup is to not engage with it, so...
Beautifully so.
And there's a spring that comes out of a clear pipe so that it's centered. There's not really anything else to explain here, I guess.
Yeah,
I mean,
a spring on a conveyor will just go into a clear pipe like that. Yeah, that's basically it, really. I'm looking for a bottle opener, and I swear I had one around here, but I can't find one.
Alright, we have to wait for Grimm's alcoholism. Sorry, guys.
Hey, this is a non-alcoholic beer, I'll have you know. But it does simulate my alcoholism, so, you know, I still have some longing for it. I'll be back in 20 seconds. Okay. Let us proceed. Okay, yeah, Dolphin, you can explain this room too, I guess.
Alright, so you come out of the pipe, and the thwomp immediately starts pounding you, but it doesn't do anything.
You can't
forgot
make
to
it
set
hurt
that
you
door
if you
back
want.
to a key door.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah, the thwomp doesn't even hurt you on the mushroom platform. Fun fact. Second thing of note is key door red coin section suddenly, but it's not. If you were to go through the clear pipe, you just get the red coin dick. and it's like taunting you, which is kind of funny. And then we have my little spot the difference thing here. And there's our guy right there. And I love Snowball Skipsqueaks so much. They're great. They're really lovely creatures. So
very misunderstood.
Love them a lot. And I decided,
tame.
what if I turn it into a spot the difference? And I just have 3 snowballs, and one of them is the Skipsqueak snowball. And that idea sounded really awesome to me. So that's the whole thing. And then you jump up, and then she gets you. There she goes. She gets you. And then you can explain the detection because you made that.
Yeah. So
I can't see the difference. I know. I mean, she's hidden really well in there. To be fair.
Yeah, the detection's kind of surprisingly precise. Basically, they're inside each other, right? Yeah. And if you jump, then you can see the Skipsqueak jumps out of the snowball. Now, when you go up here, you'll notice the switch state flips like that. To make it less suspicious, I tried to make this like, you know, almost like we're just using blue blocks because it looks nice, you know what I mean? But that meant that these then needed to be blue blocks to the sides. If the switch state had flipped like any later, then what would happen is that this Skipsqueak would end up getting sort of pushed out of the snowball, because they don't want to be inside each other. Like, pretty much everything in 3D World has a sense of, you know, physicalness to it. Things don't like to be inside each other in 3D World. So, yeah, the timing had to be pretty precise on this for them to not just, like, shoot off to each side. So, and I think I can probably show this off. This slope here, so, well, I'll show you this. So that thwomp there gets pushed into position. That kind of puts it in the perfect position to only trigger when you jump up here. Like, it won't trigger if you go there, for instance. But if you jump there, it will. But it's also a spawn loading thing. So, like, you spawn here. This thwomp needs to be within the spawn area. And then it basically gets pushed. I think if it got pushed any further, it would despawn. But it gets pushed like just far enough that it's in the right position. Doesn't despawn. But yeah, the timing would not work if that wasn't there. So I'll show you now.
Because the slope pushes it down a little bit.
Yeah, and
what
I think...
is that? Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, see. So, the visual effect is completely broken. But that...
I love, and it doesn't even kill you. I love when the editor pink block things troll you.
I know, yeah, literally. Getting trolled by the editor. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for that bit. Dolphin, you can explain the tech behind this nonsense.
Yeah, so on your way back with the key, the thwomp now kills you. The blaster falls on the blue block, and then the on-off activates again from the thwomp on the right side, where we were just talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And so the blaster then blows up the bomb, which blows up the exclamation block, and that pushes the thwomp down 1 tile. And that is the only functional difference between when you go out of the pipe originally and when you come back, is that the thwomp is lower by 1 tile. And now it kills you because of that. Why does it kill you? Because it's 1 tile lower? Because of Nintendo jank. That's why. So.
And it will also
someone
kill
in
you.
Carl's stream.
Oh, sorry. It will also kill you if it's like this low or this low. Yeah, that will kill you too. So yeah.
So someone in Carl's stream theorized that it's because you're on a different pixel when you're on the ground versus when you come out of the pipe. Which is a lie. That's not true. That's not the case. But people like Carl took it as true, and then other people took it as true. So that's what people think is going on here, but it's not. It's that the thwomp gets pushed down by the spending block. So yeah, it makes perfect sense.
We're really ruining the magic for everyone here. I'm sure there were a lot of people that really needed to believe that it was the way that Carl explained it, or that his chat explained it. We're sorry to say that that's not how it works.
It's even stupider. It's way stupider. Okay, this next room is all yours. Have fun.
Yeah, so I'll just let this play out, and then I'll explain what's going on. So you come in, you're like, what the fuck? You don't really need to hold anything here, you drive to the right. Now, some people just assume that you've just driven off the cliff there. I wouldn't even say astute players, I would just say players with eyes would notice that that is a Koopa, and not you. And then, basically, nothing happens here. You can jump, nothing will happen. You can press C, nothing will happen. If you press left, though, then you appear from the top of the screen and gloriously fall to your death. So yeah, people were theorizing...
While ramming into the checkpoint.
While ramming into the checkpoint. 2 times you go straight through the checkpoint and don't get it. So yeah, the first time is obviously just that's not you in the car. That's a Koopa in the car.
At least one of the times it looks like it.
Yeah. And then the second time, that's just how cars work. Like when you're in the car, the hitbox is just such that you just don't make it. I think I can show it off here. Yeah, you just don't connect that. So what's going on? I mean, it's a fairly simple swap, really. This is... I'll start from the bottom. So when you spawn in here, I needed the car to be facing to the right from the start so that you didn't have to turn the car around. I think, like, earlier versions, you did need to turn the car around. It was just... We found it was just confusing from playtesting. So this ensures that he's facing to the right because he spawns to the left of where you enter the room. And then this bomb just pushes him into the correct position. And then it's basically just a timing thing. Like if you were working on a similar troll like this yourself, it's just a case of playing around, shifting things until it lines up correctly. But I can show you what is happening up here. So there's another Koopa here. They'll only start trying to drive towards you if they're on screen. They can't even be slightly off screen, like in the spawn area. They have to be visibly on screen, I believe. So when you come out the door, though, you get that sort of Looney Tunes effect, you know, with the sort of black borders. So that helps mask, like, if I come through the door here, you'll see that you can't see that Koopa at all, basically. Yeah, see, he's just gone. You can kind of see this platform bouncing.
It's there for, like, a frame.
Yeah. And you can see the residue of the, like, bounce, but yeah. So he gets bounced up there. He's been activated now, so he's trying to drive at you. So he'll drive over here. These are just here to make the timing work out. I just basically just had to play around with how long are the conveyor belts, what speed are they. Actually, the best way I can show this is how I tested it when I was working on it, is turning the auto scroll off. So you'll be able to see the switch really clearly now. Oh, where'd it go? Oh, it's because I moved him. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, yeah. So you see he tries to drive. And then you see that just about miss each other. Took a while to line that up, basically to make it look like the arc of the jump was the same. And also having them as close as possible to each other means that, like, if the player tries to hold left, they'll bonk into the other car and that will shoot them up and kill them. If they try and jump out the car, it'll kill them. There's a lot of bullshit going on here to try and stop the magic trick being ruined if you do anything weird. So, like, if you hold left or you try and get out the car, there's spike blocks, there's icicles, there's a massive row of flame balls that fly out of these blocks and chase you. If you hold left here, there's a flame ball that comes out here, and I don't really need to show you how this works. It's just, that's hit by snowball, that's hit by this. It's just playing around with it, it's just timing, but essentially a lot of bollocks to make it so that you die if you tried to get out of the car at any point until you hit this. Once the reveals happened, though, you're kind of... I want it to be safe to hold left, you know, so that there's not a lot of unnecessary deaths, because the solution is to hold left. Once you get to this bit, you have to hold left, and that'll cause the real car to emerge. So I tried to set it up so that you can hold left at any point after the Koopa appears on screen down here, and you'd be safe. So the way I achieved that, I'll just play it again, you'll see. That exclamation block just it basically means that you can hold left early and you'll just get pushed into the right spot. So if I try and turn around, the thwomp just pushes me there. And then, yeah, it's just a dash pad that forces you out. The car can't bonk on the edge of the screen, so if you're still facing right, you'll just be stuck here, basically. Facing right, you won't bonk, you won't take damage. As soon as you press left, you get shot out. And that's it, I think. I don't think there's anything else to mention about that, unless anyone's got any questions. Did that seem thorough enough,
the
Dolphin?
room looks like chaos until it's explained. And it's like, it's all basically just achieving the one purpose of making sure the player does it correctly.
Yeah, essentially.
So that the joke is there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of work for one troll, but it seems like it paid off, so yeah, I'm glad about that.
Definitely paid off.
Yeah.
Definitely paid off.
Oh, and then this is just here. This bomb just needs to go off to flip the switch state, and he's hidden by a red block, so that doesn't happen when you respawn from the checkpoint. Also, because we're in like downwards vertical scroll in the subworld, I forget the exact number of tiles. I think I can count them actually. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right. So if it's downwards vertical scroll, up to 8 tiles above the area will be spawned in. So that's why I've got a sideways. You know, basically, if I was to crush this guy from above using like a blaster, say, the blaster wouldn't be spawned in. So this needed to be like everything that needs to be spawned can't be any higher than this, essentially. Yeah, I just need to reset that. Oh, that reminded me very briefly before we move on. The reason it's a slow auto scroll down specifically, not a fast one or a medium one, is purely and only for this troll to work. It's so that this ant looks like they're walking down the wall for longer, and so that you can't see the parachute. And yeah, you just spawn in a little bit above, and it'll just scroll the screen down. There you go. Okay.
Wonderful.
4 screens for one troll.
4 screens for one troll, and it was worth it.
Alright, back to Dolphin.
Alright, so this is where the weird car glitch jank that I found comes into play. So that Koopa is vibrating really fast against the cow. It's constantly getting bounced by that mushroom platform, so it just causes that nonsense to happen. And so the player goes to the left. The goal is to take damage so that you can grab the POW. For some reason, a lot of people did not understand that goal clearly. So that's one way you could go, which would be the smart way. But you could also go the fun way, up through the clear pipe, and get the 1-ups and have a great time, and then you go back down on the donut, and it's perfectly timed for the guy to appear. And now we have a shape. You know, there's circles and a long stem. And so if we go down, well, first let's explain the car. So go to like the car area. So the car is momentarily on the blaster. If it initially bounces, it never starts driving, but because it's on the blaster, it starts driving before getting into that state, and that starts the glitch. That will come into play more later, but for now it is in the form of it vibrating really fast. Yeah, so you need to get the Goomba mask on the first frame. That allows the Koopa car to start driving, and it also allows the piranhas down there to start moving. Because otherwise, if you had the Goomba mask immediately, then none of them would start doing anything. So the piranha starts extending a little bit, and then they're kind of just stuck there. So then, yeah, go there. So when you take damage, the purple piranha starts growing and gets killed by the blue piranha. And now the blue piranha has space to keep growing after that. I believe that the purple piranha is just taking damage because the blue piranha pushes the blaster, which like collides with its hitbox for some reason. So this is just like a really efficient setup. It's inspired from a setup in CMC 3D that involved jumping on a blue piranha and then you get like a cat suit, and there's distractions and stuff, and then it grows the full length and blocks you. And it's because they had like a crate that prevented its growth any further, and then the crate later gets destroyed. So this is like an efficient version of that setup that's automated so that it happens off screen.
Yeah, you can ignore this bomb for now as well. We'll explain that in a moment because it's relevant to a different setup. The only reason it's even part of this setup is for pure convenience.
Yeah.
It's just a way to blow the bomb up. So yeah.
Yeah, it's sprite saving mainly.
Yeah.
So the solution here is just to take damage on the bottom path.
Oh god.
Alright, and then this next troll.
Are you enjoying me doing everything as inefficiently as possible again?
It's pretty funny, I can't lie, it's pretty funny. Alright, so you grab the POW, the Koopa car immediately bounces up to that platform. Currently, it's on the mushroom platform, not the icicles, and that does matter. So, if you were to throw the POW at the switch, then the Koopa gets pushed into this very precarious position, and you can't get in it. And this is where the glitch comes into play more, because typically the Koopa car would turn around and try to drive at you. As we saw in previous parts of the level, where the Koopa car tries to target you and drive at you. Here, it just ignores you. It's a happy car, it's content with life, it doesn't care about you, it doesn't want to hurt you.
She's just parked at Walmart, isn't she? She's waiting to pick up her kids.
Like that. It's almost grounded in a sense, but not quite. Yeah, exactly. Waiting to pick up her kids. Kind of got stuck in a ditch on the way, but it's okay. We're enjoying life anyway. Everything is gonna be alright. So, yeah, it's like in a glitched state, like a grounded state, but not quite. Because if you were to get in the car, you could start driving it, whereas if it was grounded, the car just wouldn't even drive. So this is like a weird, different car glitch state that I don't think anyone has done or has like found before. And it involves getting the Goomba mask on frame 1, causing the car to charge at you, but then because you have the Goomba mask, it stops. But then it gets stuck because of the mushroom platform that's constantly bouncing it. And then you lose the Goomba mask, but the car gets confused and thinks you still have it, so it kind of just ignores you.
Yeah.
So it's a glitch state in which the car thinks you have a Goomba mask, but you don't.
Yeah, and actually, on that point, the reason that this snake block is here is, so Dolphin said just then, you know, it tries to charge, then it immediately starts ignoring you because of the Goomba mask. I think when it's in that initial animation, you know, when it's sort of skidding a bit on the wheels and it's like getting ready to fully charge at you, if you lose the Goomba mask at any point during that animation, that breaks the glitch state. So there needed to be a way to sort of slow down how quickly you could take damage, which is why I put this this snake block here.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's another weird thing about that glitch state.
Yeah, the Koopa car has to like... If you actually play the level, go to the Goomba masks and play the level real quick. So right now it's like driving and swirling around. You see how it like turns around a little bit and like initiates its driving. That's the animation that we're talking about. So if you take damage,
I'll take damage
while
early.
It's still doing that like turning around thing that it does, then it'll break it. Oh yeah, and then the solution, the springs just push the car above to the icicles so that it doesn't get bounced. And the switch there needs to be there so that you can't kill the Koopa and the switch and hit the switch at the same time by like throwing it in a specific way or whatever. So that's basically just D-cheese.
Yeah.
And then we can probably move on to the next part at this point. I mean, there's also the thing where if you get in the car and there's a chance that it'll just like boost you to the right really fast. Which was funny, so we decided to put a Piranha Creeper there to kill you if that happens. And Grim, I was thinking no one is going to ever fall for this, it's never going to happen, it's way too unlikely. Grim told me that he had a feeling that Carl would fall for it, and Carl did indeed fall for it. Not only did Carl fall for it, he was the only person to fall for it. So, yeah.
That was some good karma there. I don't know how many good deeds I've done this year, but it was clearly enough for that to work out, so yeah.
So this next part, this is another one of those trolls that are taken from a video clip in my Nintendo Switch files that has existed for like 3 years of a random thing I encountered in a random level. And I found it, I was like, oh yeah, I remember I found this thing and forgot about it. So, we utilized it here. So if you go on the bottom path, then you get launched straight into the checkpoint, super fast, and it's glorious. And I'm not the kind to checkpoint one the player, but I thought this was too glorious to not do. Yeah, so here you can see it's literally just that. There's a plant attached to the blaster, and it's on an on-off block that turns off, thus causing the nonsense. Pretty sure what's going on here is... What I want you to do, Grim, is go back into editor mode, erase the slope next to the left side of the blaster. So notice how the blaster gets pushed a little bit. On frame 1, the blaster gets pushed a little bit. You see that? Gets pushed like half a tile. That's the plant doing that. That's the piranha creeper. But because that slope is there, it tries to get pushed, but it can't make it all the way. The ground on the below has to be there as well. And so the blaster has this like constant struggle of trying to get pushed to the left as it's programmed to do, but the ground gets in the way, and so the ground pushes it back to the right, and then it just like rapidly happens over and over again, and then we get this ridiculous glitch. I also want to mention the sound that this makes as it like constantly is colliding with the snow
your favorite
ground,
aspect
and it just like
of this
makes
entire
this constant
setup,
snow sound that I think is really funny. Yeah, it literally is. It's my favorite aspect of the whole set. And then if you go to the top path and ground pound to get the mushroom just poofs away. The reason that happens is Nintendo jank.
Yeah.
That's my explanation.
We did find...
And then if you go back the other way...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. So you go back to the left, the setup disarms, and then you can pretty much just get the mushroom safely.
Yeah.
Of course, it's slopes. Does it have to be slopes? I don't think it's actually slope specific, though.
No, the slopes are just there because I thought it would look nicer.
The blaster vibration thing. I don't think it could just be normal ground. It's just ground, yeah.
Yeah, so what disarms the mechanism when you come back? So we couldn't use a switch state to determine, because obviously you're already in this area playing around and stuff. Basically, it's just this snowball hits into this on-off, but we can't have that happen the first time or like when you hit a switch state because you're already messing around with switch states here. So it's just blocked off by a hard block. This bomb, like I say, it's got nothing to do with this setup, but conveniently this setup can also be used to crush this bomb. So when you first spawn in here, the bomb blows up that, so that gets spawn blocked and doesn't do anything. When you scroll the screen far enough over here and then scroll back, this is now free and it'll hit the on-off, which flips this back on and disarms the mechanism. The only other thing I'd mention about this is like to make the timing consistent. These clear pipes weren't originally here when we were first sort of mocking this up, but what I found when I was trying to build it was basically like you only get launched on certain frames of this janky, horrible animation that's going on.
Yeah, it's weird and precise.
Yeah.
And stupid.
So having the clear pipe there and also having the mechanism off, but then only activate when you start moving through, it just makes the timing really precise, so you'll always get launched. And the only other thing that's worth noting in terms of making it consistent is this mushroom's on a parachute. If it wasn't on a parachute, again, I think because of the frame it lands, sometimes it would get poofed and sometimes it wouldn't. But the parachute, I guess, keeps it in that zone long enough that it will get poofed. And And again, yeah, like like Dolphin said, why does it get poofed? Nintendo jank. That's all it is.
Yeah, there's no explanation.
Yeah. But yeah. Oh, and
We
the
have
only
to explain the launch now, which
yeah,
is
yeah,
yours
yeah.
to explain.
Yeah, so really the only thing to mention with the launch is... Oh, come on. If I can get it to work. See, this is how inconsistent it would be if it didn't turn on immediately. You see what happened there? I sort of had to jump quite a lot. But yeah, all that's blowing up this wall is when you spawn in this area. So if you spawn at the checkpoint or, you know, you come out of this pipe. I think what happens basically is this bomb, for some reason, is prioritized as blowing up first over this one. What blows them up is just these, you know, these blocks on wings. So yeah, this one blows up, which blows this bomb up. But if a bomb blows up another bomb, the second bomb doesn't actually blow up, you know, bricks or anything. It just gets destroyed. So this destroys that, it destroys that, it destroys that, it destroys that, it destroys that. And this is spawn blocked by this block here. So it doesn't exist. So basically this whole setup just deletes itself when you're first here. The second time you come in though, when you're getting launched, this bomb spawns first, and so does this. Like, these both spawn before any of this spawns. And that's enough for this bomb to now be the one that blows up, which blows up that. Now, I don't exactly know why. This block here also gets blown up, which makes this nice and clean. You'd think this bomb would have to blow up for this one too, and I think it does. But honestly, I had this set up exactly the same to the block, and sometimes this would not blow up. And the only explanation I can have for why it works like the one way the one time and the other way the other time is literally the order in which you place these flying bricks in the editor. So I don't know if I can show it off, but if I just replace that now, I have a feeling it might work. This is something for further investigation. Yeah, see? So it's exactly the same setup. The only difference is I placed that later in the editor, and now this block here no longer gets blown up. Answers on a postcard for how the fuck that works. Yeah, might be worth looking into. Yeah, and then that falls, that blocks you.
Yeah, that's very strange.
Yeah, I have no idea. That just blocks you from going back in the pipe. And yeah, that's it really in terms of that setup, I think.
And Gutra, I think it's because you were holding left, right? So you'd go through the bottom path and hold left. If you hold left, it won't do it.
True. That used to be the
you have
solution
to be holding
as well.
nothing or holding right.
The intended solution used to be that you had to hold left, but we found it was a little unclear. So then we added the whole go back and forth and deactivate the mechanism thing. Right, over to you, Dolphin.
Okay, this is mine. This one's really simple. So you jump for the 50 coin because it's shiny. And then here comes the mouse, and it tries to go back to its original position, which causes it to push the mushroom. And then it'll also jump on your head if you're just standing there. So that's literally all it is just the spring. And it falls down, it perfectly misses the semi-solid, and it lands to the left of the mushroom. And it pushes the mushroom with it, and pushes the mushroom into an inaccessible spot. It's pretty much impossible to make it through those piranha creepers there, so...
I just did it! I just fucking did it! That is the first time I've ever managed to pull off that Trump jump, by the way.
Alright, well...
I'm pretty sure that's a Trump jump.
That is terrible timing. That's terrible timing for our sake. But that's like literally a sub-pixel thing, so...
Yeah, that was
cool, I guess. Great.
There you go, that's what's meant to happen. That's what's meant to happen.
Yeah, that's literally sub-pixel shit, so that's crazy. That was iframes? Oh, was it?
Was it? Damn.
Are you tricking us, Grim? Were you just using iframes? Those piranha creepers there. So...
I just did it! I just fucking did. Okay. Oh my god, learn how to play the game.
How does the ice block work?
The ice block.
It serves as decoration.
Oh yeah.
It
These
looks
ice
cool.
blocks,
It's like
though.
windows and stuff. It's like, yeah, ice block.
Yeah, I mean this setup as well. I don't think Carl ever fell for this, but
Yeah, they're the ice blocks.
the thwomp just won't reset to the same height. That's because the thwomp is at this height. That little contraption.
I think
there
Carl
just
did
pushes
end up
it
falling for it, but it didn't end up in the edited video.
Yeah, I could have sworn I remembered him falling for it because I watched the VOD at the time. We need to be in the other switch tape for this. Can I steal a on-off from anywhere? Let's steal that one. This is surprisingly simple, but I'm quite proud. Dolphin will attest. I'm probably more proud of this than anything else. Probably more than I should be as well. Basically, all that's happening here is there's a mushroom platform hidden here, and I discovered this while making the level. If you've got a slope like this, then I think it's kind of known tech that if it's a steep slope, then you can hide a mushroom platform behind it that you can't see, and if you walk up, you won't hit the mushroom platform, but if you walk down, you will. I found out that with a slope, like a shallow slope like this, the same thing is true, but not for Mario. So Mario cannot interact with this, but the ant can. So the ant just hits a hidden trampoline there. The thing I'm most proud of, though, is that, and you can probably see it if I sort of scroll the screen down, this trampoline is kind of visible in this setup until the screen sets to the perfect height. And you'll see what I mean. You can see how you can see it there. When the screen scrolls, though, it is still slightly visible, but and this is kind of stupid, but this whole setup here is positioned to be at the exact right part of the vertical subworld, so that the actual colour of the sky in the background is the exact same colour, basically, as the trampoline. So you just can't see it. People also asked, how does the ant flip? So it goes off the trampoline, it tries to stick to the ceiling, but then this conveyor is here, which causes it to try and move to the right and flip around. And then it will land on the cloud, and it'll just walk up here. And it's got the stupid sound effect on it, the, what is it? That, like, squid sound effect, that just distorts all the music and everything. And then, basically, you're just, like, bonked. It'll just walk up the wall and bonk you until you die.
It sounds very silly, too.
It does sound very silly. I'm gonna let it happen, actually.
How you're, like, jumping on the ant, and the jump sound effects get progressively, like, faster.
Yeah.
And then you die.
Yeah,
When
I think
you die with the woozy sound effect, it sounds so silly.
the woozy sound effect plus the death sound effect is a great combo.
Amazing.
Okay.
I saw people thinking that the ant was, like, attaching to the ceiling somehow, which is funny.
That is
Like,
weird.
people thought the ant was, like, behaving weird with the slope and causing it to, like, float upward.
Oh, really?
Like, a lot of people didn't even realize that it was getting bounced at all.
Yeah, I tried really hard to hide it initially, but I thought that after it gets bounced, you'd see it. But yeah, I probably didn't need to try nearly as hard to hide it with the background color and everything, because yeah, never underestimate how blind the player can be.
Alright, so this is just a distraction troll. And I like to call this the overstimulation troll, because there's a lot of, like, things happening. So first we have the appearance of the Koopa glitch again, except it vibrates less fast because it's, like, facing a different way and it's a crate instead. I don't really know exactly.
So that is because in the other
Whatever.
setup, the thing that's
and
blocking
then the
it
ants
is on a on-off platform, an on-off trampoline, and they're a little bit lower down than clouds. So basically, it just has a little bit more
it's
room to
slightly
vibrate.
higher.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay, and then the ant from below, it travels to the right and then goes back to the left, and then it goes in the clear pipe. And then this is a classic clear pipe glitch tech that has been known for a while, and that basically causes anything to pop out of the clear pipe to the top, and it'll clip into stuff. So this ant clips into the on-off blocks and then the blaster, and it just hyper speeds up. So like, yeah, let's apply this in different ways. So like, if we take a clear pipe and then we do that cloud and spring thing, yeah, just like that, and then we can have like any enemy go in there, make it like a Koopa. Let's do a Koopa.
Yeah, Koopas are good.
A big Koopa.
That is not a Koopa. There we go.
That's a hammer, bro. There we go. So what would be expected here is for the Koopa to go in the pipe and then get stopped by the spring and then go the other way out of the pipe, but it instead just like exits the pipe weirdly and then it just goes into stuff. So yeah, now it's just inside of that. And if we replace that with ground tiles...
Yeah, there we go.
And then remove like, the second row of ground tiles. This is essentially the clickbait thumbnail Koopa from the Shenanigans of Dolphin, so that's what I was trying to do.
There we go.
But yeah, I think you guys can... There we go. There it is. Clickbait thumbnail Koopa right there.
That's one of my favorite.
So this uses
things.
that. This uses that. This is the same tech. It's great. He's so happy.
It's gonna take forever to undo that.
He's so happy to be in this situation. Alright, so then the player goes through here fast. They ground pound on the crate in order to get the car. But the car just goes through you for some reason. And now it's bouncing on your head, and it's very silly sounding. And from here, pretty much your only option is to send it to the sky. You could, like, duck to the very side and cause it to, like, not work. But a lot of people didn't realize that. So...
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do that. And some people found that out, but it is what it is. We left it in anyway. So, here... Okay, so the player this is basically just hit a switch and get trolled thing, but so the player hits the switch.
Oh yeah, I'll do that first. Hang on.
What's going on? Okay. Yeah, and then they get sent into the crying face, which the crying face was Grimm's face. So thanks, Grimm. Honestly, I think that crying face makes the troll good. Anyway. So a winged block lifts the blaster up and also blows up a bomb, which cleans up the setup. And so that causes the blaster to push the spring up, and so now the spring is like stuck in the top of it, and you can see the spring. But if you put the semi-solid there, then the semi-solid completely conceals the spring. For those who might remember, this uses the same idea that a bandwagon world troll did. That was used to hide a crate, so that like you needed a POW, but instead you picked up a crate hidden behind the semi-solid, and then you miss out on the POW that you needed. So this uses the same like idea here. And then inside of the mushroom platform is a on-off block that is hidden by the mushroom platform, and that's the ceiling that you get springed off of. Famous Koopa. Is it famous? Is that a famous Koopa
I think
now?
it's famous, yeah.
Have I made the clickbait thumbnail Koopa famous? Let's go. Alright, so now the ending setup. This one is also mine. So you have to clear out the skip squeaks, so you just keep jumping. And then when you jump a third time, there he is. And you need to have the... Yeah, you could just do that. Yeah, that's good. And you're gonna make every... There you go! Look, that's so much faster!
I'm learning.
Okay, so you jump, the skip squeak jumps, it causes the snowball to hit the spring, which then spawns the skip squeak. You jump a second time, it jumps up a little bit. You jump a third time, it flies away to victory. So this is just a setup that consistently happens after 3 jumps, which is cool.
Yeah, that's...
Did Tanuki Dan fall for this troll? I think he did, probably. I'm pretty sure he did. His playthrough of this was fantastic.
Yeah.
Tanuki Dan's.
He did have to go back to find a few trolls, but he did seem to really enjoy all of the ones that he did. And he did some like crazy stuff as well that I don't think many other people did. Experience some trolls in unique ways, let's say.
Yeah. He he dodged trolls in ways I could have never imagined.
Yeah, like frame perfect input, crazy nonsense. Yeah.
This uses the same tech that was used to hide that skip squeak inside of the track blocks from earlier, if you remember. So there's 2 hard blocks that are 3 tiles above the block that the skip squeak spawns from, in the same fashion of the other troll. And it clips inside of the on-off blocks. And now that it's inside of a blaster, when it jumps, it just causes it to hyperspeed. So, we're playing to Well Shock. The reason why that happens is because in 3D World, everything... What did you say, Grim? Like a sense of physicalness or something?
Yeah, like they don't want to be
so
inside
nothing
each
can
other.
really be inside of each other normally. So when the skip squeak collides with the snowball, it moves the snowball to the right, which therefore makes it collide with the spring. And then because the snowball is moving, it also kills the skip squeak, because moving snowballs kill things.
So yeah, final setup was mine. It's pretty simple. Honestly, I'd be surprised if no one had done it before, but maybe not quite in this way. But essentially, you can jump for the 50, or you can just go straight for the goal. If you go straight for the goal, you just glide slightly over the goal. I'll go for the 50 to show you what happens then. But I'm going to full jump for the 50, and this is what happens. Yeah, just nothing. You still glide over. And that's literally just because there's a twister hidden here. It is a little bit precise because, well, because everything, again, kind of has a physicality in 3D World and the way the ground tiles work. The twister's twistiness, if you want to call it that, I don't know what we're calling it. The cyclone is like through the floor, so you can't see it. But also for it to affect you, like it kind of affects you slightly above, like where it's visible. So to get it in the perfect position, you just put it on this like slope, and that just means that it's, yeah, basically it's at the perfect height where you can't see it, but it'll still twist you over the goal. I suppose the final thing is just when you get sent back into this, like... Obviously I can't hit that on-off block. Why did I do that? Just flip the switch state back. So this time when you come in here, you're in the other switch state. So that blaster now exists. Also, that cat comes out, and also the big ant comes out. The reason it's a big ant rather than just recycling that small ant is because the kind of way in which you're glitched into the spring here, it's slightly different to before. So like when you roll into the spring from below, you're kind of in... Oh, what am I doing? Yeah, when you roll into the spring from below, you're in a sort of special stuck state. So I'm pressing jump right now, and I cannot hit those Kaizos. The way that it gets you stuck when you come through here, though, it is possible to jump and hit the Kaizos. And that also means that... I don't fully know what's going on, but you're... But basically, like, you won't necessarily die to the ant. Like, sometimes the ant will just get stuck freaking out and it won't kill you. So that's why I've replaced it with a big ant here. And also, I don't know, it's just comical, I guess. I think, was it Tanuki Dan that said that the ant's grown up? Which I thought was pretty cute.
The ant has grown up!
Yeah. But everything
else
is...
so funny, oh my god.
I know, I loved that. Yeah, weren't you saying, like, a Tanuki Dan playthrough is often... He'll dodge half of the things by doing crazy frame-perfect inputs, but then he'll spend, like, half an hour... He'll, like, name one of the enemies Herbert, and then he'll spend half an hour laughing about how Herbert nearly killed him and, and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
No. He will dodge something frame perfectly, and then laugh about... like something about the enemy that none of us ever like thought about, and then he'll name it Charles and
that was it, Charles. Yeah.
The rest of the stream. Or it's like, yeah, the ant has. I never saw it as like the ant growing up until Tanuki said it, and now like I just think that every time, and it makes me very happy.
No, it adds a lot to the lore of the level. Anyway, yeah. In terms of how this works, it's pretty straightforward. I mean, yeah, the spring both times just comes off this conveyor and falls in. if you react really quickly, you can actually hold left here and not get sent into the ante. No one's done that though, thankfully. If they did do that though, they would have to jump to turn around. The act of jumping makes you hit that Kaizo, and that Kaizo has got a fireball in it, which is just a free death. And actually, I think there's like a yay sound effect on that. Like, well done, you avoided the ante. Yeah, this blaster's not here in the first time because of the red block. This cat isn't here because of the red block. This brick, you don't see it when you're in this room, obviously. When you get cannon blasted into CP1, it also gets blown up by the bomb, so you don't see that. But yeah, the cat just flies down here, lands there, and then it glides into you. And yeah, the same with the ant. The ant is just blocked by red blocks there. Yeah. Maybe feels like an anticlimactic way to end it, but
star.
Yeah, could have given them an extra.
Yeah, could have given the player a star.
Could have hidden that up here, like just as they're about to die. Throw a star down the tube. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Could have done that.
If it gets Nintendo.
When you have a star, you don't kill ants. Fun fact: you don't kill big ants.
Oh really? Awesome. Well, if we have to do a director's cut because it gets Nintendo'd and one of the other streamers wants to play it, then we'll add all of these diabolical extra layers.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I think that's about it. Unless anyone has any questions about anything else. Oh yeah, Dolphin did mention this, but we can show it again.
The small ant comes from the block next to conveyors. The red POW spawns it. There it is. There it is.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if anyone's got any more questions, they can. I'm going to upload this to YouTube so people can leave it in the YouTube comments.
3D World is so fun.
Amen to that, and I think that's a good statement to end on. 3D World's fun. More people should make 3D World levels. If anyone wants to and they want to ask me or Dolphin about tech, I'm sure we'd be happy to share, because I personally would love to see more 3D World levels.
Me too.
Okay, well, OBS just glitched and stopped and restarted again. I think that, if there wasn't already a perfect time to end, that is a perfect time to end. My computer's about to blow up. So, yeah, thanks everyone for watching. Thanks, Dolphin.
OBS was just like, no, that's it.
That's it. OBS does not want more 3D World trolls. Alright, take care everyone. Thanks everyone for coming along, and see you soon.